Alright guys, so Paragon Gems, what are they? Well, for starters, they're poorly named. Just kidding, Paragon Clan, don't freak out. But seriously, I love these things. They are amazing. So I'm going to do a quick video kind of detailing what Paragon Gems are and kind of give a little demonstration of what they can and can't do and what kind of impact they have. I have this a whole little, FAQ kind of prescript that I made for this video. So Paragon Gems, to answer the question, what are they? They're gems that you can upgrade. Yes, upgradable gems. So right off the bat, you're thinking refining and all this other stuff, but let's just go through the list and you should hopefully have a pretty good understanding what they are, what to expect from it, and then you can post your concerns. Watch the video before you freak out. So first off, they're upgradable. Well, how do you upgrade them? If you talk to Battle Merchant Arena and you select option 2, I would like to empower an item, it brings up an empowerment interface. Kind of look familiar? That's because it pretty much is. So first off, you're going to drag your gemstone into the item slot that you want to refine or empower, I guess is what they're calling it. And directly underneath of that, you will see your materials tab. It'll tell you all of the materials that you're going to need to empower this item, as well as the cost of doing so. Now, you can obviously see that there's multiple windows here. This one is obviously for the runes that you're going to need to empower them. And then I suspect that this would be a catalyst window. This would be a item mall catalyst, kind of like a Venu rune. And then this would be your protection slot, so like some new version of like a Neptune rune or Pluto rune. So let's go ahead and plug in our runes here. And because this is just these boxes, they're always popping up when I'm trying to record these videos, man. After I pop in my runes and I have my costs and everything, it'll actually give you a preview of what enchanting the rune is going to do. Now, if I look at just the base rank, or rank 1, non-refined, non-empowered rune, you'll see it's defense 1% plus 237, and it requires level 100 or higher to gain the benefit. Now, if you look at the empowered item, it's going to be Rune of Debugging, and you'll see like a little 2 next to it, so this is the second rank, which I think this should probably have a 1, or this should say +1. I'm not exactly I don't know. I'm a stickler for trivial details like that. But you'll see in the preview window, defense 1% plus 239 instead of 237 with a level requirement of 120. And then you also see down here, you have a 100% success rate. So you click empower and it'll say empowerment successful or succeeded or whatever. So now we've got this nice little automatically updated interface, and you'll see that the next one is already set in the preview window and it keeps all the materials there. So very much so like refining. But here's a couple of the cool things. For one, these items are going to be socketed into gems. So exactly how many separation drills and perfect separation drills are you going to need in order to constantly keep pulling these out, refine them, put them back in, pull them out, refine them some more when you get more currency and runes and everything? None. That's the cool thing about this. Let's say that I have it socketed into a piece of equipment. If you drag that piece of equipment in there, it will still allow you to empower it. So luckily we will not be burning a bunch of separation drills on these things, because separation drills are hard enough to come by. And the item mall ones are significantly overpriced. I mean, it takes maybe 1 or 2 separation drills from the game versus one perfect separation drill, and that perfect separation drill is like $5. No. Everyone's been saying that seriously needs to be reformulated on its price for a very long time, and it's still like that. It needs to be changed. So if we pull this in, you'll see that it not only shows the item that it's in, as well as the effect of the item, but if you go down, it'll still show the item, and it'll show the updated effect in the item. And then it'll obviously show you that percentage of success. And as you'll notice, that going from plus 19 to plus 20, it now takes 20 runes. So as you go up in refinements, the amount of materials is going to increase, while the percentage goes down to successfully refine the item. So, having said that, what gets upgraded on the stat? As you get these items, you'll notice that this is Rune of Debugging, and it provides defense percentage plus a static amount. As you upgrade these, here's where the really cool stuff starts to happen. As you upgrade them, not only does that bonus amount increase, but as you hit certain empowerment levels, tiers, certain plus numbers, we'll just say that for now, it can actually unlock secondary effects to the gem. For example, my Rune of Debugging 19 has unlocked a secondary effect of increasing consumable HP effectiveness. Now, originally this was just received HP effectiveness. They increased it to consumable HP effectiveness, and this rune is technically from the Honor shop. So I'm wondering if this is directly geared at like PvP gameplay, because in PvP, if you just had it just be overall HP received from heals, from absorption skills, from the cleric's bonfire and salamander flames and potions, that would it might be too strong of an effect. Now I have upgraded my necklace gem and my ring gem to even higher amounts, but I'll show those here in just a couple minutes. So where do these gems come from? I don't know. No real details have been given to exactly how you would farm these or how you would acquire them. Currently on Pegasus, if you talk to Honor Items NPC Henry, you can just buy one of the Runes of Debugging for 0 honor. It's like a little base tester item. And then the runes for refining are 1 honor each. Now, I kind of have mixed concerns over that price of being 1 honor. I understand that it was set to that point for testing purposes, but later on I'm going to kind of elaborate a little bit on why that should probably stay a very low value. But as far as where these items come from, I suspect that there will be 3 methods for getting them, and possibly a 4th in the future at some point. The first 2 primary areas or methods, I think, that are going to be used to collect these gems is going to be from a direct purchase of sale, which means that PvP orientated gems are going to be sold by Honor Items Henry, and then your kind of PvM dungeon orientated gems are going to be sold over here at the Valor shop from Valor Materials Mason. Now, that's just kind of like my suspicion. Don't quote me on that being where they come from, but both of these NPCs are the ones that already sell the Honor and Valor gems. So if they are being sold directly for Honor and Valor currency, this would be the logical place to find them. The third that I suspect that might be possible to collect these gems from is from boss drops. And I suspect that those gems will kind of have mixed purpose, because as you're leveling, you're going to get, you know, drops from kings, and you have to level in order to get to the PvP brackets, and you also have to level to really get into the good dungeon brackets. So I suspect that could be an option, but I see that being less likely than just directly purchasing them. So direct purchase sale. Now, I already asked what the maximum refine amount for the Paragon Gems is, or rather the maximum empowerment level is for these gems. And before you go flying off again, like I said, watch the entire video, because this number is probably going to scare you at first, but wait till the video is done before you start freaking out. But the maximum empowerment amount for these gems is plus 100. Yes, that means you can increase them incrementally 100 times per gem. So if you were to just have 3 jewelry gems, a weapon gem, and a chest gem, like say that these were the only 5 options that Paragon Gems could go into, you're looking at 500 refine attempts, and you'd have to be incredibly lucky, like so far beyond astronomically huge figures lucky, that you might as well just say it will never happen. You will never max all 5 of those gem slots out first go around. So right there you have 500 refinements to go off of. So that sounds like a lot of grinding, but because you're not refining these for very trivial amounts of stats, like, I mean, these things actually increment pretty good. It's worth doing over time. It's something that kind of gives you an end game goal that you slowly work towards, and it will never obsolesce. The gems that you increase and you empower and you refine, they will never go obsolete. So that kind of moves into the pros and cons, but I would also like to thank Cleric EN, also known as Column. He was on the other day, and he actually gave me a gem because he had significant amounts of honor on his character, and so he went absolutely gung-ho on empowering one of these gems. And this is the only gem that we have, is Rune of Debugging, or else I'm pretty sure he probably would have empowered something else. But he actually gave me this gem, which is it has been empowered 55 times. Man, I gotta get this cough under control. I've been sick this whole last week, so I mean, just kind of looking at the values, I mean, this one, it starts off at defense 1% plus 239, and then, you know, at plus 10 is when you get the very first HP consumable effectiveness increase on this. You have to get it to plus 10. So he took it all the way to 55. Now, that has incremented its stats from a 1% defense plus 200 and X amount to defense 3% plus 359, as well as unlocked the HP effectiveness and incrementally increased that to 4%. So if you just had 3 of just these, I mean, you're looking at 1,327 defense, give or take a few. That was off the top of my head, so that could be a little bit off. Plus an additional 9% defense, and then an overall 12% effectiveness increase to your consumable HP. So that's not bad at all. I'm kind of hoping that, you know, somewhere ballpark maybe plus 70, a third option becomes unlocked on these. I think that would really kind of push you to really go for it. If it stays at 2, it kind of seems slightly trivial compared to some of the other gemming options. You know, like the amount of investment that this would take versus the amount of reward that you're going to get out of it. It might kind of nullify it. But if there was a third one, and none of us are really sure if there is, I think that would really push it to that next level, kind of like the next goal to go for. So, the pros and cons that I can outline and point out right away. Like I said, it gives an end game goal. It gives people who are already maxed out on your level. You're already maxed out on your gear options. You're already maxed out on all your passives. It now is going to give them something to work for. Now, right away people are going to say, oh, grind, grind, grind. Yeah, grind. Get over it. Like, seriously? Like, you were not able to refine without grinding. You're not able to enchant, you know, substats without grinding crafting. You're not able to purchase anything without grinding Zuli. You're not able to purchase your honor and valor items without grinding honor. Everything is technically a grind. Now, this option, as far as a grind goes, is something that I see as okay. Not because I just magically am acceptable of grinding these gems because I think they're cool, but because in the interim, in between, you know, your gearing up process when you're just getting a weapon to the point where you're trying to empower these to their maximum potential, you have options. You have base gems that you can put in. You have king drop gems that you can put in. You have substats that you can enchant with them. There are a lot of different options that you can use in between a starting point at gearing up and this end point of the really, you know, high-end gearing option, the real investment gearing option. So you have things that you can do in between, which breaks up that monotony. It breaks up that grind to where, you know, everybody is grinding a character to max. And if you don't like some form of progression, some form of grinding or farming or an end goal that you are constantly working towards, then go play a MOBA. Seriously, if you just want to jump into a game, have a champion or a character at maximum potential and just have it be based off of your skill, go play a MOBA. Like, that is what they're for. That is who they are targeted to. Like, there's a huge conceptual difference between an MMORPG and a MOBA. And Rose is an MMORPG, massively multiplayer online role-playing game. And what is classic to role-playing games is slowly but surely working towards a higher power capability. So, what are the cons that I have concerns over? Well, for starters, is the massive amount of rune fragments that are going to be coming into play. Now, these currently set to 1 honor per rune. When I was using or gearing up this rune to 31, I took it from base to 31 out of 1,000 runes. It took me an entire stack of these runes just to get to 31. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot considering it's already now 1/3 of the way to cap, but you have to consider that I also have the ring and I also have the earring, and we could potentially have a weapon and potentially a gem, and it could go as far as every single gear slot. So I mean, at maximum capabilities, if they introduce and implement it, is you have 3, 6 if you have an offhand, 8, 11, or you know, just the 7, 10 if you're a two-handed. So that is anywhere between 10,000 to 11,000 of these runes, and that's that's the base cost. And that's only to get it to 31. It was slowly, incrementally increasing how many runes it was going to take to continue working on it. For example, this one is up to like 50-something runes per attempt. So just to get 10 from 50 to 60 would be roughly in the ballpark 500, a half a stack for plus 10. I'm suspecting that by the time it takes you to get from the 90 to 100 range, I mean, you're going to be looking at almost 1,000 of them just to get those last 10. So I mean, you're talking about potentially tens of thousands, 20, 30, 40, 70,000 runes. So my concern over it is that these will be put at like 10 honor, or 15, 20, 30 valor to get, and that would it would increase the cost so much that would then break the point of grinding for the maximum capability of these gems. Now, I'm all for the challenge, but right now farming honor is okay. Due to PvP inconsistencies and game balance, it can be frustrating at times if you're on the short end of the stick and you constantly keep getting stomped by preset groups or maybe clans who have a lot of passives that you don't have access to. It's kind of in some aspects an unfair system, but at the same time it can still be fun if you just take it as a game orientated towards having fun, because the dynamic flow of the game can be different every single time. Even though it's the same map, you could be facing a different team composition, you could be facing a different team composition that has different build considerations, you could, be facing different team compositions with different build, considerations and different play styles. So the dynamic flow of combat and PvP changes every time. It doesn't really change all that much for dungeons, unfortunately, because I actually really like dungeons. Ever since I was a kid, I thoroughly enjoyed dungeon crawlers like D&D, Diablo, Darkstone, a whole bunch of different dungeon crawlers when I was a kid that are now completely obsolete and completely out of date. But I realized that I enjoyed that, like Gauntlet, way back in the day. I mean, way back in the day. Was a total blast just because, you were down trudging through the sewers destroying things. And I mean, there's a huge emphasis on saying that honor items, they cost less than valor items because of X factor. It's easier to get valor than it is to get honor. No, it is not. I am so sick of that myth existing that I'm going to actually say something about it right now, even though it's kind of out of context. In PvP matches, doing mediocre performance on a very subpar class, for example, my Cannon Artisan, it absolutely sucks to play a Cannon Artisan in PvP, and you have absolutely no way to outperform somebody who's playing a different class that is geared the same and can play as intelligently as you can. Even still, with my premium subscription and the honor point passive, I was ballparking 250 to 400 honor points, sometimes more, on my Cannon Artisan in a 10-minute game. But you take that exact same character and you run it through a dungeon, and you do it really quick. I mean, you literally just plow through this thing as fast as you can. You're going to get maybe 140 Valor, and that's with the Valor passive and a premium subscription. So I'm getting 4 times the amount of honor points that I am getting for Valor. And honor converts over to Valor in a 2-1 ratio. For every 2 honor, you get 1 Valor. But Valor increases on a 5-to-1 ratio to honor, which means it takes 5 valor to get 1 honor, which I think is completely bogus. That completely puts PVM and dungeon players way behind the bar. So that's where one of my considerations and my concerns is that for some reason these runes are going to cost, 15 valor, and then the honor ones are going to cost 5 honor or something, when it's already easier to get honor points than it is to get valor points. So that needs to be taken into consideration, that is now a myth. And in fact, dungeons really do need kind of an overhaul on the amount of valor points that you can get from them. I think there should be a massive increase to dungeons if you clear all of the monsters from them. If you just want to bum rush the bosses and get 120 valor points, be my guest. But if somebody actually takes the time, if a team actually takes the time to go through and completely clear it, they should get like 100, they should get double the amount of valor points that they would normally get. Say if the dungeon's formulated for 175 valor points for killing just the kings, I think that you should get 350 valor points for clearing the whole thing. It's just that added level of effort, and you get rewarded for it. I think it's perfectly fair. So what can you expect? Because this video is running a little bit long. What can you expect from these Paragon Gems? Item mall options. I'm foreseeing new item mall options for empowerment. I'm seeing an item mall catalyst like the Vener rune is for refining equipment, and I'm seeing an item mall protection, which is like the equivalent of a Pluto rune or a Neptune rune, which prevents it from degrading. Now, I haven't seen any listings for these gems degrading, so I don't know if that's even going to be needed. But I can definitely see that the refined percentage success chance could be manipulated by an item mall rune. And I also think that an in-game option should also be taken into account. And the impact that they have on the game it's pretty significant in a subtle way. It's just giving you something to work towards. It's giving you more gearing options, more considerations of what you might want to potentially build into. But it's also allowing you to have a goal that is never ending, because these gems can be separated from the equipment. Say we get level 240 armor, and you have this gem that you've increased to plus 100, but you want to take it from your old level 220 chest into your 240 chest piece. All you have to do is use a couple separation shells and pop it into your new equipment, and bam! You don't have to re-refine them every single time like you would with equipment. They're reusable. So, when they're reusable without destroying the equipment. Previously, with substats, you have to destroy the piece of equipment to take that substat and put it onto something else. So, like plus 15 epics, like Shattered Hope, if you had a Shattered Hope with max substats on it, and you wanted to, say we got like level 240 uniques or whatever, and you wanted to take the substats from that Shattered Hope and put it onto your new one, you would have to destroy all of that refinement that you did on it just for the substats, which is, it's kind of damaging to morale, if you ask me. So the fact that you can separate these gems and reuse them for yourself, I think, is a great benefit. Something that I do think needs to be done with these, and a lot of people are going to hate me for suggesting this, is that these need to be account locked. I think that because of the reusability of these and the recyclability of these, and the fact that they're kind of like a slow work as you go item, that these should be locked to the account, not the character, but the account that they're on. So you can trade them between your classes and everything that you have on that account, but you can't sell them. I think that should be a huge consideration, because as soon as you get people farming these and honor points and refining them, 5 times quicker than Valor, then there's going to be no point to even playing dungeons to farm these, when you should just go do PvP or, just buy and sell massive amounts of item mall points for money. So I think that covers everything for these gems. If I left anything out or you still have questions, feel free to ask them on the video, on the forums, or PM me on a private message. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope to see where this system goes.